Coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
Good evening. I'm Alex Latrimwe and you're watching MediaPlex News Now. Those who don't drive in Amherstburg will definitely be noticing some changes with the recent taxi services being cut. I went to find out more. Amherstburg's taxi service has come to a halt, but this has not prevented alternative transportation methods from taking the reins. The Windsor-Essex Community Transit System initially only serviced the elderly and those with mobility issues, but now, according to Amherstburg Community Service Executive Director Kathy DeBartolomeo, it's open to the general public. However, it's also temporary.
When the taxi service went out of business, we wanted to just step up because we have the buses and we have a van also, but we have the capacity to help people get around. So right now we're offering it only as a temporary solution to what's currently going on with the lack of taxis in Amherstburg.
DeBartolomeo says the transit system primarily operates on weekdays from 8 to 4. This has caused some residents to want more.
Well, I think it's a travesty because you don't want to drink and drive, and a lot of guys come down after golf or ball or whatever and have a few beers, and if they end up staying, they call a cab. Now there's no alternative.
Aside from time concerns, DeBartolomeo says she wants the system to better cater to those who frequent Windsor. Although she says improving the system is a struggle, she's confident it can be done.
And we have the buses here. So one of the problems then is running 24 hours because if people are going to go for jobs and all that, and how do we overcome that? And the way you do that is offer the system, listen to what people have to say with our surveys, and hopefully we can work together with the township to be, to get people up to Windsor.
In the meantime, round trips to Windsor are still offered for $15 a person and $10 for a drive around Amherstburg. For MediaPlex News, I'm Alex Latrimwe. Autism awareness was in the spotlight, and Jonathan Hutton tells us more.
The 16th annual Give Your Heart to Autism Gala took place Thursday night at Windsor's Giovanni Caboto Club. People from all over the city paid $125 each to attend this event to help raise awareness for autism. Former Autism Ontario Presidents Izzy Faraci and Rita Michelli were in attendance. They are very thankful for all the support that Windsorites have given over the years.
I think our group of volunteers, our gala committee is all volunteers, and it's really because they've all been touched by autism in one way or another. Many of us, like Izzy and myself, we have sons with autism, so we do it for our sons, but also for other families that are going through the same situation as we have. We still need to advocate, we still need to educate everyone out there that will listen.
A study conducted by the Canadian federal government back in 2014 says that autism now affects 1 in 68 children. Boys were almost 5 times more likely to be identified than autism than girls, and about 1 in 42 boys in Canada and 1 in 189 girls in Canada were identified with autism disorder. This new estimate is roughly 30% higher than the estimate for 2008 and roughly 60% higher than the estimate in 2006. Most children identified with autism were diagnosed until after 4 years old, even though children can be diagnosed as early as 2.
There's a lot of people that have volunteered for us over the past that eventually had somebody in autism affected in their family also. So it is a growing concern, and we're just trying to help.
There is currently no known cure for autism. For MediaPlex News, I'm Jonathan Hutton.
Okay, let's go down to the corner of University and Victoria where Victoria Parent is standing by. Victoria?
A little while ago it was freezing rain, but now it's starting to snow, and it'll snow from tonight into tomorrow morning. Right now we're sitting at -2, but it'll drop to -8 overnight. Come back a little later for your full 3-day forecast. Back to you, Alex.
Do you prefer reading digital or print? We sent Caleb Workman to ask some university students which they prefer.
Every day people come across an opportunity or occasion where they have to read something, whether it be a road sign, the news, or a book. It certainly isn't like the 1800s either, where we're forced to read things from paper. We now have options. The question is, are people using these options, or is it something that has come and gone?
I was a devotee to print newspapers for the longest time, and I would, in fact, every morning I would get up and I would walk, usually as part of my normal morning routine, to the store to pick up a newspaper.
Staffen said in the past 4 years he has converted from print to digital news gathering.
Books I find still much more convenient to read in print.
Staffen said there are many different people with different opinions, so we asked University of Windsor students what they prefer for books and for news.
Do you prefer to read newspapers, print or digitally?
Digitally. For that, I prefer digital.
Digitally. Can you tell me if you prefer to read books, print or digitally?
Print. Print. I prefer to read them in print.
Martin Deck, sales representative for the U of W's bookstore, said numbers have moved up to about 90% of people preferring print over digital for books.
I can see some benefits in digital reading, especially searchability. However, I know from my own experience reading ebooks, which I haven't read a lot of them, but the ones that I have read, find it very hard to keep my place.
Deck said technology is changing and it's quite possible more digital readers will be seen in the coming years. No matter what happens with books or news for now, you'll always have the option between the two. For MediaPlex News Now, I'm Caleb Workman.
Despite having the highest unemployment rate in the country, local entrepreneurs are creating their own jobs instead of trying to find one. Sean Preble explains.
Windsor remains the unemployment capital of Canada, but young adults are countering that by creating their own opportunities. 24-year-old Michael DeFazio is one such person. It started as a hobby, but now DeFazio uses glue, saws, and other tools to make new creations out of old material. DeFazio says while Windsor's been known for its manufacturing industry, young entrepreneurs are changing that image.
I love that the youth is taking over because I feel like this entire city needs a little bit more life. It needs more stuff that's up and coming instead of just everything that we've had here, because things that we've had here kind of fell apart.
It's an opinion shared by youth boxing teacher Megan Martin. Martin says the changing image is making people stay, allowing them to use their local resources.
As opposed to going somewhere else that I'm unfamiliar with, why not stay in a city where I already know people, I have connections with, and use those connections in that network to make a difference in my community.
Although youth are creating their own opportunities, Milk Coffee Bar's new owner says youth and established business leaders can change Windsor by collaborating with each other.
We can't see each other as competition because we're such a small city, so we need to work together to make the community better.
One thing all three entrepreneurs agree on is there is opportunity here in Windsor. It just takes a bit more digging to find it. For MediaPlex News, I'm Sean Preble.
Climbing for a good cause takes your breath away. Tyler Boysono knows all about it.
The WFC Youth Center and United Way has teamed up to help spread awareness for mental illness. And their way to combat it, unfortunately, is a lot of stairs. But it's for a good cause.
The home of the Spitfires on Wednesday transformed from an ice hockey rink to a fitness and fun center with the help of the United Way, all aimed at raising awareness about mental health and to support the counseling and other services across Essex County. The event offered a stretching section to prepare for the bounce house obstacle course, inflatable rodeo horse racing, and of course, climbing the 1,000 stairs. After all that, trained massagers were ready to help attendants relax and unwind. Brun Reberdy, an owner of a local escape room, attended the event and said it was an event that Windsor needed.
I think the iClimb event is because it supports mental health awareness. I think it's, from what I've found, one of the only events that actually supports awareness for that. And I think awareness for mental health is something that's going to benefit pretty much everyone.
Event coordinator Missy Sorrow says there's a lot of people who use the services, and this event is for them.
2,000 people in our community access counseling programs right here in Windsor, Essex. Programs like the walk-in clinics, the one-on-one counseling and group therapy clinics through Family Services Windsor, Essex, the suicide prevention program from Alive Canada, and the 211 referral services.
Thorough also says that physical health contributes to mental well-being. I'm Tyler Boysono from MediaPlex News.
Hard work and dedication paid off for this group of students. Victoria Parent explains.
Friends and family watched last night as St. Clair College students received awards and scholarships at the Center for the Arts. Veronique Mandel and Daryl Danlin handed out awards to over 100 students from programs ranging from converged journalism to the culinary arts. Jeannie Macri sponsored the Bill Macri Memorial Scholarship Award. She talked about the importance of these awards to both the donor and the recipient.
The importance of the award to us is that given our mission to help change and create a respectful culture for the paramedics of this community, recognizing that it's not just the current workforce of paramedics that are out there, but also inclusive of the retirees, those that have contributed over the years, as well as the future paramedics coming in to contribute.
Over 500 students were at the Center for the Arts to receive their awards and take pictures with the donor. Michael Turner is a landscape horticulture student at St. Clair College. He received the Robert Sutherland Memorial Scholarship Award.
Absolutely, because it's done by a guy who did rhododendrons, which is a specific type of plant, and he actually planted some in Amherstburg, which is an important thing for the community, just for people to enjoy.
John Fairley is Vice President of Communications, who has been hosting the awards night for the past 8 years. He says this night is so important, not just to the students, but to the friends and family as well.
Most important is the parents, that knowing that people that their kids or their significant others have invested in them, they don't even know them. And just because they're a student at St. Clair College, that people have put something together to invest financially in their journey at St. Clair College. What more do you want? So I think the parents, the significants, the boyfriends, girlfriends, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles and grandparents are really happy.
With 2 more ceremonies to go and more awards to hand out, friends and family will be happy to see the students receive awards for their academic achievement. For the MediaPlex News Now, I'm Victoria Parent.
Scouting is alive and well and being celebrated. Julia Pullman reports.
Scouting groups across Canada are celebrating the founder of Scouting, with this year being the 100th anniversary of Cub Scouts. During the week of February 22nd, Scouting groups have Scouting Week, where groups have different activities in honor of Lord Baden-Powell's birthday. One Scouting group, First Wabash, has been around since 1957 and took part in their own celebration.
We get together and there's a few ceremonial things we do, but we give the parents a chance to find out what we do. It's kind of interesting for the parents and our sponsor, the Women's Institute in Wabash, so everybody gets an idea what we do.
Local businesses around Chatham, Kent donated prizes for the Scouts' Dutch auction. The money raised from the Dutch auction goes towards the program and activities they do throughout the year.
But all that goes right up to Scouts Canada, and a lot of that goes for insurance. So when we go to camps and that, we try to raise money throughout the year.
In fact, one cub, Walter, has been with First Wabash for 6 years, had a great time, and said what his favorite part of the Scouting banquet was.
The Dutch auction, because you get to win prizes like flashlights and like hockey game tickets.
First Wabash is looking forward to the other activities they will be doing later this year. For MediaPlex News, I'm Julia Pullman.
Windsor is making a big effort in welcoming our Syrian refugees. Noreen Ahmed explains.
Syrian refugees new to Windsor were treated to a meet and greet dinner on Saturday, February 20th at the Cogeco Club. The event was organized by the Syrian Canadian Council and World Water Operator Training Center, both local non-profit organizations. The purpose of the event was to welcome refugees from Syria and to introduce them to Canada through Windsor. With more than 800 people attending the event, even Ward 5 Councillor Slayman came out to show his support.
It is both pleasure and honor to be here with you today to bring greeting on behalf of our Mayor, Judy Elkin, and my colleagues on City Council.
Abdul Isa, who fled Syria with his family, said through a translator that they are thankful to the Canadian people and the government for giving shelter.
They are happy here. They're happy that Mary is here, and she's saying that she's 10 and she's going to school now. She's happy she's going to school.
Param Gayali was a volunteer for the event. She says she wanted the organization to provide a smooth transition for them.
We understand all the struggle that we went through, so we don't want the new families to go through, so we've been volunteering and trying our best to ease this transition from overseas over here.
The evening began with a private reception as well as a dinner. This was followed by performances from local schools. Doug Cooper, the president of World Water Operator Training Center, said that for the past few months, Windsor has spent a great deal of effort in making the newcomers settling and community integration a smooth and easy process.
So even though it only started a month ago, we were extremely excited to find out, that we sold out with over 800 people, but we could not be doing this without hundreds and hundreds of volunteers. Everything from the great volunteers from the Syrian Canadian Council, and there's a few, to the people that are here this evening, to the people that have arranged vans and shuttles to get the refugees to bring them here. There's just too many people to thank.
The Syrian refugees who were transported to the venue by the volunteers and other community members were looking very happy and excited to be in Canada. This is Noreen Ahmed from MediaPlex News Now.
Now let's head back down to the corner of University in Victoria for a look at our 3-day forecast. Victoria?
They say that if March comes in like a lion, it'll sure come out like a lamb. Let's hope that means good things for the rest of the month. Now let's get to our 3-day forecast. On Wednesday, it'll be partly cloudy with a high of -4 and a low of -8. On Thursday, it's gonna be partly a high of -2 and a low of -9. On Friday, it'll be -2 with a low of -8 and sunny. That's all we have from out here on the corner of University in Victoria. Back to you in the MediaPlex, Alex.
Thanks, Victoria. So, we are apparently the unemployment capital of Canada, but as Christine Klein reports, there are jobs available.
Modern Staffing held a job fair Wednesday hosted by the Employment Assessment Center. They will be recruiting for their upcoming position starting this March to May, according to Joanne Stanning, Business Developer Account Manager at Modern Staffing.
We interview every candidate for our database and for our clients. So we really want to find out what position are the employees looking for, and then we try to match them up with our clients.
Modern is a progressive staffing agency with many jobs available.
We are looking for general laborers, we're looking for vegetable packers, we're looking for forklift operators, for drivers, we're looking for administrative skills, we're looking for accounting skills, those skills with that people would have with coming out of college, and also some experience.
Modern contacted the EAC because there's numbers of jobs in Windsor that they're looking to fill in, according to Laura Lucier, supervisor at the EAC.
Did job fairs for them before, both here and in our Kingsville and Essex locations. So they contacted me because they have a number of jobs in the Windsor area that they're looking to fill. And we've developed a pretty good partnership with them so that it benefits both Modern Staffing and the employers that they're supporting, as well as our clients who are looking for jobs.
The Employment Assessment Center will host more job fairs.
We will be holding another job fair for Modern Staffing in the near future in our Kingsville office, so that we can recruit some folks from the county for opportunities that are more local to that area.
The specific jobs that are being hired for differentiate this job fair from others.
Modern Staffing is a temporary placement agency or a staffing agency that often supplies temporary workers, but they also provide full-time employment opportunities for some of their employers who do their hiring directly through the agency. So there's long-term opportunities for these individuals as well. There are jobs today for welders, for drivers, for press operators, for millwrights, for industrial electricians, so a variety of different opportunities.
For more information on Modern Staffing, and if you're looking to send in your resume, contact Modern Staffing at modernstaffing.ca. I'm Christine Klein, reporting for MediaPlex News.
A local baseball bat manufacturer is taking on the big leagues. Christian Bouchard reports.
The Louisville Slugger baseball bat is the most widely recognized and used bat within the baseball industry. However, there's one local family and business that hope to make a big hit within the local baseball community.
While it may seem like just your ordinary backyard shed, inside is filled with 12 years of memories and a family business that is built off an idea, passion, and love for the game of baseball. Backyard Bats Company is in Tecumseh and supplies local baseball teams and players with their own baseball bats. Paul Amancia created this company when he was just 16 years old, after his grandfather taught him how to spin a bat on a lathe. The company has since made an impact in the local baseball community and is being continued with the help of his father.
It started with my dad, who's the man on the wall there, basically taught Paul, who was my son, up here when he was about 16, how to spin a bat. He wanted to do it when he was 7 years old, so he bought a lathe. And my dad was then, he was dying that year. So at the end of the thing, Paul made a bat and brought it up to the hospital. Everybody signed it, and it was actually pretty good. First attempt at it.
In a single summer, Paul made 100 bats, all spun by himself on his own lathe. This is compared to the 3,000 bats manufactured each day by Louisville Slugger. The word that Paul could make his own baseball bats quickly got out into the community. But with the quick success of this business, Paul could no longer meet the demand it was receiving. This proved once and for all one man could no longer do it on a single lathe.
The old days on the lathe would be an hour. 35 minutes to, Paul would spin them about 35 minutes, sand them, and then finally finish them about an hour. They can do them at Louisville in the manufacturers, probably one bat every 30 seconds.
Eric Cunningham is a baseball player for the back-to-back-to-back OCAA championship baseball team, the St. Clair Saints. He, like many others, still uses his own backyard bat.
They're huge fans, so like knowing that they're going to put that kind of dedication into the bat you're going to use is awesome. And if you look out there, the big companies, they manufacture 1,000 bats at the same time, and like I just don't think they have the care and dedication and like work ethic behind every single bat like they do at the backyard bat company.
Although the family business has been getting more recognition, Paul's dad said the main recipe for this success has been his son.
I would have to say so. It's the passion that Paul brought to the game, from his grandfather to myself, but Paul was the guy who got out there, used those bats, showed the bats off, and the guys who use his bats, the local guys, Kevin Mayu was another guy, played for Seattle in the pros.
The red carpet was abuzz with excitement this past weekend. Sean Preble has a recap.
This year's Academy Awards was one of celebration and controversy. The discussion began shortly after nominees were announced January 14th, and several Hollywood actors came out criticizing the Academy for the lack of diversity. But host Chris Rock joked about the most controversial issue of the night in a very tasteful way. The jokes continued throughout the night, but it wasn't the only topic of discussion. Sam Smith sparked his own controversy. The Best Original Song winner mistakenly quoted an article about no openly gay male winners, but several have won Oscars, including Dustin Lance Black for the 2009 movie Milk. Despite later correcting himself, social media lashed out, pointing out the other past winners. The big night also featured discussion about sexism, rape culture, and climate change. But despite the controversies, it was still about the awards. And in the most anticipated win of the evening, after being overlooked 5 times, Leonardo DiCaprio finally captured the elusive Oscar for his starring role in The Revenant. Mad Max won the most hardware of the night, 6 Oscars, including Best Film Editing, Makeup, and Costume Design. The film beat out The Revenant, which was favored for several of the technical awards. Best Director went to Alejandro G. Iñárritu for his work on The Revenant, and Brie Larson won the award for Best Actress for Room. It was also a big win for investigative reporting Sunday as the biographical journalism-based movie Spotlight took home the Academy Award for Best Film. That's our MediaPlex Oscar recap for this year. I'm Sean Preble. Back to you.
First-year student Danielle Gagne hosts this sweet edition of 3 Minutes With.
Hi, I'm Danielle Gagne, and today we are spending 3 minutes with Johnny Oren. Johnny is the owner of Lisha Ruby Food Company, a maker of specialty chocolate bars. So Johnny, you and your wife started the business. What was your inspiration?
Well, couple years before starting the business, I was working in restaurants and I was making a roasted white chocolate for customers, and we'd have people coming into the restaurant just for the chocolate. So we decided that once we want to start our own business, that this was going to be, what we were going to do, just based on the feedback we were getting. So yeah, that's how we started it.
Okay. And how did you come up with the idea for roasted white chocolate? Sorry.
When I was living in Peterborough, we were doing baking for farmers markets, and we were doing scones with white chocolate, raspberry, and it just so happened that the outside of the scones, the white chocolate would caramelize, and we were eating scones. That was the best part of the scone. So from there, that was the start of it, and then I went to Toronto and I started working as pastry chef in a restaurant. I started doing it in a bark form, and the customers were going crazy. All the chefs would come down, sneak into my fridge, start taking it out of my prep, and then that's kind of where it all started.
Okay. And I heard that part of the profit goes to charity. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So $1 of every chocolate bar we sell goes towards our charity partner, Action Against Hunger. So in that $1, certain amount of that goes towards a nutrition bar that helps feed children in need in developing countries, and then the other goes towards things as infrastructure such as water, sanitation, so on.
Okay. Do you and your wife run the business all on your own?
Yes, I do all the chocolate making. I get but she helps with a lot of the marketing, with the wrapping. But pretty much, yeah, it's just the two of us.
Okay. Do you plan on expanding one day?
We do. That's kind of where we're at right now. We're at this crossroads where we keep it very small, small batch, which is about 100 to 200 is what we can do a week right now, or we expand. There's a lot that comes into expanding, but I think that's our next step is expanding, getting it outside of Windsor, and so yes, that's in the very near future.
Okay. And you work out of other restaurants' kitchens. Do you plan on owning your own building one day?
I do work out of another kitchen right now, Dressed by Olive. We'll see how it goes. I think if it gets big enough, where I plan in a couple of years, then I probably would need my own space, and that would be nice. So yeah, I'm hoping one day that's a step I take.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Danielle Gagne, and we have just spent 3 minutes with chocolate bar maker Johnny Oren.
There you go.
Thank you.
Is there anything more Canadian than poutine? We sent Ashley Ann Metley to check it out.
Poutine is a staple in Canadian cuisine. Traditionally made with French fries, cheese curds, and gravy, it has recently become popular in bars and restaurants all around the world, and Windsor is no exception. Place Concord in Windsor recently held their 4th edition of Festival de la Poutine. Manager Didier Moreau says the versatility of the dish has helped its popularity.
Well, it's been in Quebec for a very, very long time. It's only in the last few years that all of a sudden it's everywhere. I mean, it's in Europe, it's in the States, it's in South America, it's in Canada, of course, everywhere. And there's a cuisine aspect to it because you have all kinds of poutine from, caviar poutine, lobster poutine, all the way down to hot dog and beans poutine.
According to the Canadian Encyclopedia, poutine was originally created in rural Quebec back in the 1950s and really started to gain popularity in the 90s. Nowadays, you can even find it at fast food restaurants. Alex Lecoyne, who works at Frenchie's Poutineery, a restaurant dedicated to poutine, says it's particularly popular with the Americans that come over to Windsor.
Actually, they always seem to really love it because they have no idea what it is. It's like what usually happens is they think it's gross at first, and then they see it and they're iffy, and then they try it and they absolutely love it.
Well, love it or hate it, there's no denying that poutine is a truly Canadian food. For MediaPlex News, I'm Ashley Ann Mentley.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Alex Latrimwe, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.